while I wait for my OBDII thing to get here for the Jscan, figured out the switch panel up top. It's got a master on to use those buttons up there. But check out this really sweet wiring. This is the ground for the winch. This is the power wire for the switch box and factory wire here. So I'm gonna work on tackling that. Watching some Colt rebuilds it, working on the Jeep. So the air compressor is underneath the fender. So I dropped this Artec fender liner. Look at this rock light wiring. Sick. Infinite Off-Road makes great stuff. I installed probably 100 of these kits when I worked on the side-by-side stuff. So I'll easily be able to clean that up. But as you can see here, there's the compressor. Wiring is janky. So I'm gonna bet and just say we've got a wiring issue. That switch controller could be bad. I did order one, a different brand to play with, but just getting familiar with it. So we'll leave this out for now. I'm gonna basically pull all this wiring out because I'm gonna redo it, but just getting through there. All right, so I tightened the battery lugs. I've got my power probe. This is the power probe. I've got it connected. Key's off right now. But I found the power wire for the compressor. And when I give it 12 volts, it works. So that's a good sign. So now you've got rear locker, and then you've got front locker. And I only know that because this line's going to the back. And that's really ghetto, so we'll fix that too. But so now we're gonna jump inside, turn the switch deal on, see if we're getting power here, and then if we are, then we'll see if we're getting power at the actual turn-on solenoid. So the switch box in here is this S-Tech switch system. I think I've seen other ones just like this. Well, this is funny. So I got the switches on. I checked the fuses. We didn't have power at the fuse. So the janky circuit breaker that's been floating around, this guy here was just clicked off. And then I hit the air compressor and check it out. We got 12 volts. Well, sounds like we got lockers. So right now, when I hit it, it sends air to the rear locker, and you can hear it release. But if I do the front, there we go. I think we're good. And then I got windshield lights are working. Light bar is working. Wow. All right, now we got rock lights. Brantley approves. Everything is working. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna pull all this out and redo it. I wanted to just check operation before we did anything. So wow. I think the next thing I'll do is I'll get some soapy water, put pressure on the lockers, and then just check all the fittings up here and out the diffs themselves. Okay, so compressor, just got some, this is Dawn soap and water, just using a Windex bottle. And if I spray it in there, see that bubble? Yeah. That means it's leaking. So now we know we got a leak right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off, but I noticed that this nice compressor is only being held on by one firewall screw back there. So I'm just gonna take that as a time to remove it. I'm gonna literally remove all of the wiring. My switch panel kit should be here next week, and we'll get that process started. So that's probably gonna conclude this video. Appreciate you guys following along. Hopefully you enjoy. Again, I'm new to this Jeep stuff, so if you have any suggestions, comments, things that you've seen in the video that I probably should address, leave a message below and we'll figure it out together. Appreciate it. All right, welcome back, guys. So video number 2, I got Brantley out in the garage here helping me today. We are working on my new to me 2016 Jeep JK. This truck's been sitting for 4 years, but it's got all the good stuff in it. It's got Super Duty axles front and rear. It's supercharged, low mileage, 48,000 miles. But it needs some love. So right now I'm gonna be stripping the fenders, stripping a lot of the black stuff. He rattle canned it originally red, I believe, and then did black, but since it's been sitting in the Arizona sun, everything's faded. Ripping out all of the electrical because it needs to be better, in my opinion. I just pulled out the ARB air compressor. We're gonna relocate that somewhere in the engine bay so it's serviceable, and keep moving right along. The goal is to get the brakes to work, redo the wiring, lube, grease everything, get oil in the motor, service the supercharger, and just figure out how all this thing works. So if you like Jeeps or you like wrenching, stay tuned for more. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, so I got the cab guards off, the rock guards. I thought they were sliders, but they're literally just in the pinch weld. So I'm gonna get some sliders for this thing. Fenders off. I think I've decided to actually pull the bumpers off too. Maybe get a different front bumper. The rear one I don't mind at all. But mostly just because of the previous red popping through and making things look pink and all that stuff. It's a wheeler, but you know what? It's a nice wheeler. So let's at least make it somewhat nice to start. There's a bunch of overspray everywhere, all over the frame. Crawling underneath to undo the sliders. You can see all this awesome wiring needs to fix. I also noticed the pinion seal's leaking. So we'll investigate what the heck that's all about. So yeah, I'm gonna pull the winch off, pull the bumper off. Once I get these two things off, then I'm going to remove all of the wiring and get all that stuff pulled. So watching Supercross qualifying today and enjoying the garage. All right, so I'm learning this Jeep stuff. We'll learn how to take it apart. Taking it apart's pretty easy. But looking at bumper options, I was gonna just pull everything off and get everything powder coated. Seems to make sense. But now we got this pretty dang nice Jeep, and we have this huge frame that sticks out, and the approach angle way down here. Now this has to obviously be here because it's a Rubicon and it has the electric front sway bar. But where I'm going, I don't know if that's really a concern to me. I looked at Moto Built. They've got a pretty sweet kit, man. You cut all this off, and then you come in here and you put the bumper goes way back here, and then the winch goes essentially right where this is at. So the approach angle is way better. And I gotta get stuff powder coated anyways, so I think I'm just going to sell what was on here and order a new bumper, cut all that off. Now, obviously, what do we do about sway bar? Do we buy an anti-rock, or do we get rid of the sway bar and get rid of the shocks, and do we put ORIs up front? So let me know in the comments below what you think I should do, because right now we don't have limit straps up front. We don't have bump stops up front. We should have those things. So I feel like those need to go. That needs to go. Frame needs to go. And ORIs need to be right here. What do you guys think? Rocker guards off. For the most part, actually all the hardware came out pretty good. Just dusty. This is obviously surface rust from the back of the rocker panels. I'm going to keep those because I don't want to have more holes. I'm sure most of the other people just copy the same hole locations, but no guarantee. And then I got to figure out sliders next. Amazon just got here and I was all excited to get a scanner, and all my friends know I got a Jeep, so I got Trump Duck and a whole bag of these little squeaky ones. Jeep life. I downloaded the Jscan app and I used the Bluetooth dongle that I got on Amazon, and that didn't work, so just left O'Reilly's. Got myself a new master cylinder. Gonna throw this bad boy in there, bleed the brakes, cross my fingers, and hope to goodness that that's all it needs. Hopefully it doesn't need a booster. So yeah, time to go get more brake fluid all over my floor. You guys do work in your garage, you just clean it and then blow it up, because that's where I'm at. So I got the master cylinder removed. It was definitely leaking behind there. So hopefully we're on the right track. I'm doing a really ghetto bench bleed on my Harbor Freight table. So get this bench blade installed, rebleed the brakes, and cross my fingers. Well, I got the new master cylinder in there. Bled the brakes, thought we were all good. Still have the same problem. Notice when the wife pushes the pedal, this housing flexes. So I don't know what that means. I did spray water all over this thing and it's not leaking, so money says it's the booster at this point, but man, I don't want to find out by buying that too and it being wrong. Brr. All right, just went to O'Reilly's. Got everything I need for the oil changes, the fluid flushes, with the exception of the transmission or the transfer case. Still working on brake woes. When I installed this back line here, it was a little bit boogery going into the master cylinder. And it did bottom out and it didn't seem to be leaking, but I had a bunch of issues yesterday. Came out this morning and noticed there was a small drip on the bottom of that. So I loosened it and the master cylinder filled full of air. So pretty sure I ruined the master cylinder by cross-threading it. Total noob deal there. It was a little bit boogery already. So I ordered a brake line thread chaser on Amazon yesterday and a new master cylinder today. All that stuff will be here tomorrow, and then hopefully we can get that bad boy fixed up. So I'm just gonna work on changing the oils. You know you're a Jeep owner when all of your friends send you rubber ducks. This is the third order. This is 100 of them. So I'm pretty sure I did ruin the first master cylinder by cross-threading it. I used these guys right here. I got on Amazon. It's a thread chaser specific for brake lines. And I was able to clean up the threads and make them all nice and clean. And so now I've got the new master cylinder and I'm doing a bench bleed the proper way before I throw it in the truck. We'll get all the lines installed and we should be hopefully moving in the right direction. So if you're curious, you can see the dirt in here. It's dirty there, it's dirty there. Problem is it's electronically actuated, so I'm gonna try to like turn it on using my app and blow it out with brake cleaner. Cross my fingers. Giving up on the brakes for a little bit. So now I'm gonna finish changing the fluids. I already serviced the supercharger. That was a pain in the butt. New oil filter, new oil in the motor. I just loosened up the diff housing. So I'm about to pop that cover off and see if it actually has ARBs, which I'm assuming it does. But it'll be nice to have that checked. I got all the fluids for transmission, T-case, front and rear diffs, and then the grease for the RCVs will be here tomorrow. It's always a good sign when you pop your diff open and the fluid is brand new. Big shout out to the mini split. It is making things so nice in the garage. It's not even hot yet, but just having that cool air blow on you, super nice. So everything looks great in here. All nice and clean and shiny. So very, very happy about that. I always see horror stories, people buying something and thinks it's built. The RCVs is obviously an obvious one, but you just never know what you're buying. And then went back to O'Reilly's, and they weren't kidding. When you buy a Jeep, it really does stand for just every entire paycheck. So garage is a mess. Colt builds it up on the old YouTube channel, but just having fun wrenching, man. It's nice to get back and just play mechanic a little bit and keep you guys updated along the way. This dorky light is an absolute game changer. When when you're trying to see underneath the car. My wife really digs it on me too. But I got the diff cover all cleaned out. Got all the RTV off of there. And did the same down on the axle. They were very generous with how much RTV they used. But got that cleaned, so got everything brake cleaned out, wiped out. I'm gonna go ahead and put RTV back on it, put the cover back on it, and then jump onto the back side and get that back one done. All right, it's 9 o'clock. I got the front and rear diffs back together. No fluids yet. I drained the transmission. It looked absolutely beautiful. And then I just drained the T-case. The T-case is red, like an MTL. And it was bright cherry red. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident about this purchase because the drivetrain is mint. So I'm all sweaty. My hands are nasty. I'm gonna leave the garage a mess. Tomorrow I will fill everything up and get back on the brakes. So I noticed that the brakes are kind of actually weeping a little bit through the breather. So I'm wondering if maybe that seal's bad. I don't know, but that's for tomorrow's task. But yeah, it's getting there. So we made more of a mess in the shop. We got 3-wheelers wrecked over, stuff everywhere. My hands smell like absolute garbage. Gear oil. Verdict is we think the brakes are bled. I think we just kind of get a little bit of a soft pedal because we're running 60s on a stock master cylinder. The master cylinder was empty. We discovered it was empty because the slave cylinder was leaking. So we put fluid in it. I did not cut the port on the master cylinder line until today, and then went to go bleed it and spilt brake fluid all over my eyeballs. That was awesome. So went to O'Reilly's, bought another one of those. We've got fluid in the diff, fluid in the transmission, fluid in the motor, fluid in the supercharger, fluid in the transfer case, fluid in the rear differential. So now we're going to start it up, see if it catches fire. If it doesn't catch fire, we're going to go tootle it in the backyard. And if it all seems well, we're going to do a little bit of flex testing over at the rock quarry. So we'll see how this thing goes. All right, so first test drive out here, no lockers. But just kind of doing a flex test to see what we got working with since I don't know anything about the Jeep. Hasn't overheated yet. I'm trying to figure out how much we're going to have to clear. But thanks to that 3-link and that crazy ass rear steer, doesn't look too bad. Still not a big fan of this. I got to figure out a better way of this. So if you guys have a smarter way to do this, please, by all means, post your comments below. This is looking pretty good. This isn't a big rock, but it's super nice. My house is just right over there, so no front end, pretty baller. Sway bar up front is disconnected. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm all crawling. Just testing things out. Little baby rock. Flex test. The 3-year-old has a gauge limiter. Does pretty good for no lockers. Granted, they're 42s and traction for days out here, but looking good. It's a better view. It drips out pretty good. Getting pretty happy. All right, we're gonna go run to the gas station. Put some premium in it. I got the sketchy wiring all zip tied up. Just cleaned out the back. The inside of this thing is still like brand new. It's crazy how nice it is. So yeah, should be legit. Feel like I'm on a school bus.